Okay, awesome. Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Thank you for coming in. We'll be doing your day at BCC at the Bronx EdTech Showcase. My name is Isaac Afif, and I'm a professor of computer science and artificial intelligence at Lehman College, and an AI skill development instructor over at University. So I'm coming from a background of working in tech for over 10 years and education. And I'm really excited about the current topic we're living in right now because as someone who has worked as both an educator and software engineer at Silicon Valley and tech startups here in New York City, I'm gonna see, I guess, like the tech world, academia, and the business world. And I can't highlight enough how great it is to really be witnessing all this change in education, AI, tech, and business. So my talk today, I'm not going to be too theoretical. I'm going to talk more practical, use my experience, and hopefully inspire you guys and give you guys ideas to walk away with from this room and think about where you kind of want to be in the future of tech education and business. So my talk today is about leadership in the AI world. And this is really focused on, it's a case study and it's research that I did based on teaching with AI. And my talk is focused on a practical and ethical approach to learning. So a little bit about background. I've been teaching AI skills development at Columbia for over 10 semesters, fundamental computer science at Lehman for 4 years now. And I also run my own community, over 7,000 students who work with all ages and backgrounds. Some of them are university students. A lot of them are current professionals in tech, business, media, law, and I outside of like running the master class with them, I'm also my focus now is my goal is how do I help students and professionals land jobs and opportunities in this really shaky market that we're all living in now. So the job market has been shaken up due to layoffs, and I think the unemployment rate right now nationally is like it's been shifting, but we did break at least 7 to 10% unemployment. But good news is that there have been a lot of businesses and new opportunities and careers that have opened up due to the shifts in AI. So with that said, let's get started. So I gave you my name. I guess a little bit of like a story about me. In high school, I love playing video games, and that eventually made me decide to major with computer science in college, right? And I get fast forward to today. I teach AI and ML on the Lehman, as I said. I run my own community where I teach skills, automation skills to students who want to land jobs or opportunities. And I also am working on gaming right now, Roblox. And on the side, I also taught myself how to DJ and I produce music. So I spend a lot of time just learning. I love learning. I love sharing knowledge as well. I'm a firm believer that knowledge should be accessible and affordable to as many, to all groups. And I think that that's one of the biggest barriers, right? Is the financial cost of education, and that's actually a key. It's a reason why I think, I was born and raised in Boston. I think that's the main reason why we have, so many obstacles to job prospects and student education. So these are my findings based on using AI and AI machine learning, and what the impact I see with classroom graduating. So I guess to jump right into it, I teach my Columbia students how to use AI and ML for video game development. So for the past, in the beginning, when I started teaching my course, the first thing I started to thought of my students about was what kind of projects for game do you want to make? So when you start working on a project, like raise your hands if anyone here has ever worked on a website or game or any media project. Awesome to all those. So the first question I ask my students in my class is, now we had AI, right? And the cool thing is, you could use ChatGPT or Gemini. You could prompt it to say, hey, ChatGPT, make me, it's an actual project I did, make me a game, a Pac-Man game in JavaScript. Make it a simple 2D size roller. Make sure to make Pac-Man yellow color and to put in at least 4 bills with different colors. And they can create, make the board let's say 250 pixels, say by like 150 pixels, something like that, right? So that's a real prompt we can give the ChatGPT and Gemini, and it will actually produce some code that you can actually take and then paste into a browser-based IDE tool. Like, has anyone heard Replit? I guess Replit been around for a while. Has anyone written code in the browser before? Like taking code and without downloading an IDE, like a class or Visual Studio Code? Yeah. What tool have you used? Like a Python. Python at browser LE. Okay. So there's a lot of tools you can just like plugin based code into from a browser without downloading anything to make it easier to write code. Actually, I'm going to show you guys before the end of the talk a little bit of what I teach my students. So today we'll have a little bit of practical skills that you guys use. Okay. So I asked my students, the first question is, what kind of game do you guys want to play or make? Or what kind of app or website do you want to see? Right. So that's the first question that I started with. And then from there, I kind of push them based off of tools or apps that need to take place. So a lot of my kids like Roblox, or some of them like Fortnite or Apex or Marvel Rikers. So a lot of them say like, okay, you play this game, so, but, these are ideas for like concepts we want to take and want it to be like a shooter or an action game or something like that, right? So, and actually I have a sample of my curriculum here too. So, this is actually my curriculum. So it's available on the, if you guys look up my username, Ajak Lips, like eGliz, you will find this repo, and what I'll do is after this talk, I will share. I'll share my LinkedIn, and you guys can hit me up, and I'll share my repo with you. So basically, this was a summer of Python coding. Usually, ChatGPT and Gemini has to help my students basically build a starter template to the projects, right? And not to stay too focused on this repo, but the things they learned was they run the Python basics. They learn how to print variables, how to input variables. They learn lots of the conditional statements. They learn how to write lists and loops. They learn how to use functions, use formatting, and moving on. We work on a weekly schedule. So every week, for each day, there's a topic. You could work on the project topic with a Python file that I made for you, and each file was its own project. So the first day, I had on students make a pathway. And the whole theme of this project was, I told my students, hey, so if you're an investor and you are an entrepreneur, and I've given you your own private island, so you can host your own events and start your own ventures, you can do whichever you like, and here are some ideas. So the goal is to make an island adventure that tourists or people would like to go to, and those projects were like an individual passport, a juice stand, an emoji arcade, cafe, a trivia game, and so on, right? So these were high school students and early college students. So my focus was making it fun for them. But by the end, all of the creator projects that they could present. So in my courses, even though those are high school students, a lot of my students tend to be professional students that come from just one of my students that signed up from a master class that I spoke with on Friday at evening. She's coming from accounts. So she had like 12 years of working in the accounting company, accounting firm. But she said, I want to actually catch up with the AI race. I want to learn skills that can either increase my income or help me plan a new career, or maybe I want to go back to school. So since starting my course, she's actually been working on projects that she did post off to bid, and actually she's been getting hit up by recruiters or by people on the internet and say, hey, we really like the work you're doing with AI, and we just want to know if we're to talking with our company, some skilling. So basically coming to the chase of my talk is that when you enroll in my courses, when you take my class, the goal is you pick up a skill that you can market on sites like Ubik or even in person, and that'll put you out in front of eyes of recruiters, entrepreneurs, investors, who really are they're hungry and they're rubbing their hands together trying to catch on or after they're working with something that's in the art or working on a project or they're just busy doing something. That's really all, that's just really takeaway from my course piece either at Lehman, at Columbia, or on my master class. So essentially you walk with a project, you walk further the skill, you can post it on LinkedIn and people see that. And that's really, that's like, oh, that's what you want is digital presence, which is more important now more than ever. And people say brand, but I guess you could call it a brand or a presence, but the focus is that you guys have something to show for your work and you have a skill that you speak about. And that's really what I care most about with my students. So, this is just about how I taught my 20 students how to find their career opportunities and connect with creators. So a lot of my classes use TikTok and YouTube, which are still the two most popular content platforms. Instagram too, but I think TikTok and YouTube are unique because I think those tend to be the sites that you will find creators and content that are a little more educational or a little more skills based. YouTube has always been a great platform for learning, whether it's learning how to fold laundry or how to speak Japanese. It is always content that you can use to learn and to learn how to code, right? And TikTok has some great it's been a great discovery engine tool. If there's something you want to learn or discover that's going on right now, TikTok is still, I think, the number one platform for that. So whether it's like, what is the fashion trends in Tokyo or Beijing, China? So those are two platforms that my students use in real works too. Basically, we use Gemini and ChatGPT to find trends, inspire content, and creators to inspire them. And we created a career goal plan. So that's like the third project that a lot of my students work on and do is, but in my class, you will have a career goal plan. And even if you are in that, if you're a current professional who's been working with content for 10 years, or you have your own business, my course helps augment your current career to basically not shift your goals, but to upgrade your plans. So I like to say that you don't need to change your goals, you just need to shift your plans. And I think that's what most of society is going nowadays. It's that, whether it's a changing job market or changing economies or finance, whatever it is, wherever you are in life, you can always upgrade your plans without giving up on your goals. And I think that rings true for any, whatever role or place there. So, and that's what you get in my classes. So moving on, so we use Gemini and ChatGPT to, for my students to brainstorm on career paths. So these were high school and early college students who were just trying to get either first or second internship or a landlord's job. I took an interest-based approach. And I think now it's okay if you currently have, say, like you already have a job at a company that you're happy with, but maybe you want to pick up a new skill, but then you want to change scenery. So for example, that same student, her name was Katarina, who works in accounting that I spoke with that evening. She told me, I don't want to leave my job, but I kind of want to learn something new. And I see this AI rates is really taking off, and I just don't want to get left behind, and I want to be a part of this. So after like the second week of my course, she had upgraded her career plan to take users to work on new projects, learn a little bit more about large models and AI, learn pick up prompting, which she did, prompting Gemini and ChatGPT in my class. And she actually found new interests for herself. And one of her futures was that she wanted to create AI tools to help people to reconnect with since she was Albanian, she wanted to know about Albanian culture, even though some of her relatives had moved or passed away. So she worked on her own app for exposure to read about her children of immigrants. And it's a cool app. So that's one I made it work on. Tools. And here's some prompts that I can give you guys, and I will, if you guys follow my LinkedIn and hit me up, I will send you guys some prompts. So the first one is, This is from one of my students at Columbia. They asked, how can I use my passion professionally to get a job as a designer at Roblox? And I'm excited to say that this student actually was able to build her own game in Roblox, one of my classes. And she went on to get an internship at Roblox. So another prompt is, what is a game developer, game designer, or AI and like you? What's this going to use as a icebreaker for you to get a job in your fields? And who can I connect with on these things? So those are different skills that the prompts you can use for land opportunities. Here's the next step. How do you use AI help prepare for your career? So wherever you are in your career, academic or professional, once you've identified an interest, you can use AI to guide you through those educational choices. So going back to my student, she's been working in common for 10 years. She didn't want to just leave the job. She then wants to upgrade her education. And by using my class, my June master class, she was able to create not just a career goal planner, but an educational planner too. So she is actually thinking about going back to Lehman for her matches in computer science. And I'm actually offering her myself on there, guide her through the program and advising her. Well, without actually being a professional advisor, I'm getting a minor license. I've gone through the program myself, and I can at least share what knowledge I can. Big questions that anyone can ask and be like, I'm sure that anyone can ask this now. Should you major in computer science? I think it's not a bad idea. If you are thinking about going back to school for your master's or PhD, or maybe your first bachelor's, or maybe you want to try bachelor's in computer science, I don't think it would hurt. I think having that foundational knowledge is going to help. And the more intelligent people can decide, the better in general, everything benefits. The more of us that are aware of how AI and how things work, the more we can, I guess, demystify the magic that people like Sam Altman, the CEO of ChatGPT, and companies like Google, all the power that they excel and the authority, we can kind of just we could look at it and say, well, we know how this works. And, we're actually more compassionate than its CEO. So we can decide if we want to use these tools or build our own. And I guess the power of education and deciding I always like to say that wherever you are in life, you should always actively invest in your education. Yes. So the big goal, the big achievement of my class is that you go the roadmap basically to help achieve your career goals, whether it's educational, professional, personal, or skills development, or anything related to that, right? So this is just a little bit of a backstory. But my journey, I majored in computer science, and then I graduated at the perfect time, 2020, right when the world shut down. And so I had to shift focus and went from being a tech professional to a tech professional and educator. And that was actually a great decision, even though I acted with clients to be an educator. I just wanted to mix the open value. But I found really great experiences doing that. Found the community at Lehman and CUNY and beyond. And I'm passionate about what I do now about teaching and helping put the next generation or learners, builders, and the passionate people. So, yes, I guess this is just like closing notes. Looking back, my hat wasn't always clear, and I don't think anyone did. So we can always have a mentor, but it doesn't hurt to make mistakes and to really learn and experiment. So I faced challenges too, like struggling to find work after being laid off, dealing with burnout, figuring out how to balance creativity with having skills. Anyone who will experience that, I think. And I would say if I was in high school again, I would use these tips. At full university, if I could be able to do that, I would use them as your new at the same time. And you gotta is at AI research, skills development, or English learning. You really have to start coming shit with. And so I guess those are my today. I teach my own areas with master class in my keyboard 7,000 students at IDP Formulator. I call that. I also taught myself how to DJ music. I use that skill to tell my students that I could learn, pick up new skills. And I guess like new skills to determine your clear path, whether it's for new career in AI or in your agreement, like for your academic career. Um, and I actively try to stay educated, not just in AI skills, but for creating country management or hobby. I think that books are very important now personally because, uh, now women can get generative where information is instantly accessible and spread very fast, faster than anything that we use. Um, and we know how to generate content information on the images video. I just got an email yesterday from OpenAI saying that we just released their models of Pandora for data design. So we're living in a really impactful time. I think that now whatever two things we get that matter like books, human writing, and human speech, because those are the three things that are actually pretty hot. So it I would say if there are things you want to focus on, well, that can focus and try to develop your speech, go on about access the sort of literature, and also try to write. I guess those are pretty really good on popular list now. And it's on my service in my class now. Maybe I So we are almost at time. I just wanted to use the last few minutes to share my information with you guys. Briefly, in conclusion, I urge anyone who's going to take that first step to, definitely branch out and pick up a new skill, whether it's investing in taking the course in prompt engineering or business development. It is now or never. I think that, and everyone I'm getting talked to, someone that can subtrain or take the course, or they put me onto a good book that I hadn't known about. So they're passable up something, but whether it's video games, AI, and all the hyper the ones that think that are stuff to explore what's out there. Talk to people, which I'm actually getting surprised by some of these very and ego shy on myself at how open and intelligent people could be once you come with them on honest curiosity and you can ask them questions. But hey, my name is Isaac. I'm an educator and a professor, but I also want to learn about. I see you're a professional in finance or accounting. I actually want to learn about that. So you can speak about it. Really proud. So better to know what's out there. I think tech is a great thing, but I also think that talking with people and learning with each other is two tools that humanity both not. I think they're very beneficial and relevant to today's field. So that is time. I wanted to share my information with you guys in case you may want to do that. Thank you for playing. And this is my QR code from my it. And anyone would like to connect with me, they can just scan that. I can make it bigger. I can also share my my email with you guys after the rest come up and see what that's my talk. Thank you guys for attending.